Alright boys, how's all doing?
Yeah, good man.
Hey lads.
Good. Welcome back to This Is My Story, your unofficial Hearts podcast. As we say every single week, we are not affiliated to the football club. Or Rab, what was your intro this week? What is this? What's the podcast now known as?
This is my Kevin Nisbet of Kevin Nisbet Obsession podcast. Not affiliated in any way with the Big Shagger.
We'll come on to that in a minute as to why. Boys, how's all doing? Ando, how's your week been?
Not bad. I'm off on holiday this week, and I'll be absolutely honest, I've rediscovered the Xbox, and I have had my arse soundly handed to me by the missus at Crash Team Racing this afternoon. So domestic violence is never the answer, but she's upstairs staying out of my way, so I'll say.
And heaven is a halfpipe. Shanks, how you doing? How's your week been? You been fucking 260 ollie kickflips down the big bowl?
I don't even know what you're talking about, mate. I've had I got a poo emoji birthday cake, which was class, and I got it all stuck in my beard, so I've now shaved that off, and I look like a 12-year-old sperm.
The sperms live that old?
Well, apparently when they hit on, that's what I resemble. So I'm looking forward to not getting kidnapped by paedophiles and growing my beard back soon.
You just shaved that off because you knew Rab was coming back on, and his is well better.
I'm competing with Red.
Brad, what have you been saying to it?
Not much, mate. No much. I just getting to terms with my Sinead O'Connor haircut, so I fully embraced it now. So, aye.
And, you're now, for anybody that doesn't know, he's official eye candy of the podcast. We've had our first fan mails in about Brad and his haircut.
We genuinely have as well. With what was it? Oh, what was her name? Was it Petra K or something? I think was the username. That left a comment on the website saying, "Sign me up for him." Absolutely class chat.
That's just my dummy account.
I was going to say, that's what you can come up with. That's the only thing you could do. Tam, how's your week?
All right, not really done much.
All right.
All right. That's pretty much it. Not got much to say this week.
Yeah, geezer, Cockney.
You know what? I've been watching going over Peaky Blinders again.
Oh, right, okay.
What's that guy? Oh no, I can't remember his name. I've really messed this up. But they're currently in London, and it talks like that. So I've just taken it on. That's what it is.
Oh, that's good. Nice. Right, Kev, what have you been up to?
A hell of a lot better than Tam. I've not been watching Peaky Blinders, but looking forward to another night on a Tuesday. They come round a hell of a lot quicker nowadays, and that's got nothing to do with my age.
Is just everybody joining us on YouTube, as we were just live on YouTube for about 2 minutes and 23 seconds as we forgot to press record and we hit straight to stream, so apologies if anybody's just been watching us live on YouTube and then had it abruptly cut short. You can catch us when we're actually fully uploaded. And then you'll have seen and noticed that there's a big Rab, our Dunfermline pal, on the podcast this week. Rab, how are you? Hopefully your weekend was absolutely miserable.
Aye, I'm okay. I feel like I'm like a semi-regular on here now, but a regular semi would be smashing, to be fair.
You know, Welsh and Kev had one of them. That is an aging, isn't it?
No. Still working in good enough old condition. Don't you worry about that, pal.
How did you enjoy paying £18.50 to watch your team get beat?
We'll talk about that later.
Talk about it. Right, we're not betting a bit too much. Cool. Well, as we said to everybody that's watching this on YouTube, listening on the usual audio sources, we're obviously still trying to keep on with the visual podcast. It's been working well. We're trying to iron out the kinks as we go on. Because obviously we've tried to shake up New Year, New Us, all that sort of stuff. Was it New Year, New Me? So we've had a wee shake up our features. We've got some new features to bring to us to use tonight. So we've got Deividas Quiznauskis with Ando. We've got Pat Stanton, which I'll explain when we get to it. We'll have Do You Know Us by Our Noise, which Tam's going to do with us tonight. We've got The Gorgie Boys Are in Town, which is a bit like what we used to do when we did away days. It'll basically just be a wee review of away grounds and away days. We'll have Away Up In Gorgie because we're all missing Gorgie. do a bit of a review of our favourite pubs, clubs, chippies, Subways, Greg's, whatever it is in Gorgie that we miss going to. And then the one we're all looking forward to, it's got a new feature with Shanks where we dive into the mind of Livingston's #1 skateboarder. Have you got a name for the feature yet, or will we come to it when we do that in a wee second?
Either way, I could tickle your balls for another 30 seconds, or I can spill my beans right now.
I'll tickle yours for a second, because what we need today is I need the shout-outs of the winners for last week's teaser. What was the teaser and who got it right?
Which former Jambo has played with Andy Gray and Darren Dodds? And there is, as you would expect, a bit of a tweak, because I made a bit of a Shanks of it. Apparently, there are 2 Andy Grays. Who'd have thought it? So there is the Andy Gray. So cheers to Amaruso Lets It Run for calling me an arsehole and making it quite clear that there was more than several answers. So well done to Gordon Stitt. Apparently, Gary McSwagan played with Andy Gray. That's the Andy Gray, Sky Sports News Shagger version, at the Huns in 88-89, and then also with Darren Dodds 06-07 Inverness Cali. Now, I wasn't thinking of that to be the correct answer, because I actually thought it was Sky Sports Andy Gray, but it turned out to be some wee guy, Jeffrey Falkirk, who also happened to play for Crystal Palace and Spurs, who's also called Andy Gray. So well done to Mark Wells, who has called out, apparently, Steve Banks played with the Falkirk Andy Gray, Bradford City in 2002, and Darren Dodds, Dundee United 2009.
Oh, no.
Mullers Header on Twitter. Mullers, you've just completely misunderstood how this feature works, son. What you've said is, I'm not sure that Andy Gray and Darren Dodds ever played in the same team. So you've totally shanksed it. But the correct answer was Andy Gray, the Falkirk version, who I thought wasn't that one, it was the other one. In 2002, played for Bradford. Darren Dodds, Cali, 2004. The player was Wanjo, which nobody got. So I'm taking that as 1-0.
Well, as we say every week, it's your feature, your rules. You set the answers, so it doesn't matter how much of an arsehole you make of it. Then, if nobody can get inside your head to get the answers right, then fair's fair.
And just so that people know that isn't his new feature. We came up with he was worried about his new feature being boring. If it's anything like that, then I'm sure it'll live up to it. Right, well, let's hear the new feature. What's it called? Talk us through what's happening.
So, this feature is called If Anyone Can, Shanks McCann. So what I'm doing is reading out 3 players, and we're going to pump this out in the socials. So just a few wee snippets from me. You might get a story or memories of a goal. Unlikely, I don't really remember much from games, or just my general thoughts and opinion on this player, and then we'll punt it on the socials and you'll tell me who is the player. So,
okay. Oh, wait, we'll simplify it so that people know before we go. This is basically, you're stepping inside Shanks' mind here. You're going to try and guess 3 players are based on facts, lies, made up stuff, things that probably never happened, games that probably never happened, and then you've got to try and get the answer right. So that's basically in a nutshell, isn't it?
Probably.
Yeah, good. Right. Well, let's go. Who is player number 1?
Well, I can't tell you because that would ruin the feature. So let me just describe to you player number 1. So I've got 3 bullet points written down. I've actually studied this. Nobody pause the YouTube video because that will ruin it for everybody. They just seen who it is. So this player played out of position the majority of his Hearts career. In my mind, he brought stability and calmness to the team whenever he played. He took no prisoners. And whether he was never really a standout in games, you would kind of think back and think, oh, he's really transformed that there. Hardly ever put a foot wrong. And
J1 Oshniwa. Done. Nailed it.
That's
number 1, right? Cool.
Number 2, Hearts boy. Absolute shite. Worst goals to games ratio ever. I've actually did the maths, and it is 0.09. He looks straight out the Goonies, and he had a very couple of important bangers against the Hibs, and he gave me a stunner for weeks.
Okay.
And player number 3, absolute bam. Loved a square goal despite always being half their age. Frightening contributions to games all over the park. Played in numerous positions. Missed him hugely when he left. And he's such a laugh and generally a good cunt. Bleep.
Good. What was it called again?
So-
If anybody can, Shanks McCann.
That's it. Ando, play the music.
I done that at the start, mate, but it's fine. Right. Well played.
Nice. Right, so we'll get that on the social medias. You can get in contact with us if you get any of those players are. Was any of them Daniel Kuzan? None.
I didn't even mind the episode that I've apparently said that in, so that's
8 times. You say, I can't even remember what you were talking about. You said it in reference to us playing like Arbroath or something like that. I said we're absolutely Daniel Kuzan in the Europa League putting long balls forward. And I was like, what are you talking about, man?
Well, that's valid. That's valid.
Right, cool. Right, before we go to our Deividas Quiznauskis, we Ando do headlines for the week. So, transfer window shut yesterday. Would we have 4 players in this transfer window? I didn't even do the math to figure out how many players we had out. 2 out yesterday on loan. What's your thoughts? So, Gary Mackay-Stevens joined midway through January, and then Nandwi Lee, and then Aaron McAneff yesterday, and Castanar.
I've got no idea. I'm stumbling around in the dark with these until I hear Laurie say what they are properly.
Anybody want to take a player profile? Tell us anything about Aaron McAneff?
He's got the wrong first name. It should be Jobby.
Yep. We could also sing "I Just Can't McAneff." we'll work
he
on
seems
that. We'll
to
work-
get he seems to get pretty good reviews from anyone that's seen him play before, so that's always a good sign. But I don't know, Irish League, is it any good?
No, it's rubbish.
Well, to be fair, out of all the players we've signed, he's the one I'm most. He's the player that we need the most.
Yep.
And he's the one that if he delivers what is promised of him, I'll be pretty chuffed. So he's a box-to-box midfielder. Like you said, you've got to temper it with the league and the standard that he's playing in, but he's had rave reviews for playing in the Irish League. He even got a national call-up, didn't he? As well, so it looks like he's got a pretty decent pedigree, and a few other clubs were in and around him as well, so I'm pretty happy with that. Castanar, I don't know, some fucking I think he was on loan from Coventry. Some Coventry fans have said he was absolutely unplayable his first game, and then absolute jobby McAnuff for the rest. So sounds perfect for Hearts, doesn't it? With the news. Aye. Well, actually, what I was going to say is what we forgot in the headlines is the news that Josh Ginnelly out for the rest of the season, probably won't play for Hearts again. It's a bit of a kick in the teeth, isn't it? Round the table quickly, would you offer him a contract now?
Yes.
Yes, from Brad's.
Yeah,
Ando?
probably would.
Shanks.
I'd give him 2 contracts because he'll probably be injured for the first one.
Sam.
Yes, I would, but like a short-term contract.
Kev.
No.
Rab.
Doesn't he care?
Couldn't pick him out. I think for the 7 or 8, I don't care if he sits on the bench for 12 games or 13 games a season. For the 8 games that he actually played for us, he's worth it because he's been probably the most direct and best winger we've had for years, to be honest with you. So I would.
Did you see his tweet about folks saying he was injury prone?
I find that quite funny. That kind of nails the coffin. He's definitely not coming back.
I know.
When he starts square going the fans on Twitter, that's when it's time. That's when it's time to move on, innit? Anybody else anything on the new guys? I'm not writing him off, and I'm not saying that he's shite or anything like that. But the big guy on Saturday was hilarious. He had some absolute comical moments, man.
It was stinking.
It was
It
brilliant.
really was stinking.
Yeah, good save for the header, which was decent. But the easier chance was the cutback, which he just basically passed back to the boy. I was like, what you doing? What was that? And then some of his touches were absolutely comical, made me laugh. Do you think we'll see him start on Friday?
I don't know.
Nope.
I reckon this is going to be one of these guys that is just forged his way into a football contract. It was like the guy down south that said he was George Weah's brother. It was just a complete imposter. This is going to be one of these guys. I'm telling you, it's going to be crap.
Nah, I just don't. I genuinely just don't think he's match fit yet.
Well, to be fair, it did look pretty tasty at Blackpool, and he scored 2 goals in his debut, so pretty decent. What was your overall thoughts on him, Rab, when you seen him?
Any attention.
What a waste of 1850.
I think the key to this laddie, and if you watch all the Blackpool stuff, and I think it was his stat, don't put the ball at his feet. He needs to be in the box, cross it in, and he would have had a goal. See if Mikey Smith's ball right at the end there had
bounced right off his face, it would have maybe went in.
I don't know why Mickey Smith just absolutely pinged it across. He just needed to dink it, and he would have had a goal. That would have been easy enough. But at ball at his feet, he's absolutely honking so far.
It was just, I don't know say he was honking. It was just funny.
Oh, no, he was like a baby deer running for the first time. Going into that
he looked nervous.
But then
Really
to be fair to him, we'd said that, Andrew, you'd said it a couple of times in the group chat on Saturday as well, Ando, about the fact that Walker, Boyce, and Nandwili, they were running into each other and all that. They were like, they kept going. They were all making the same runs and going into the same positions and that. So I obviously just rusty. He signs on the Monday, plays on the Tuesday. And then obviously, so they'll have recovered Wednesday, trained Thursday, Friday. So he's maybe had 2 training sessions.
I think his last game before that was Boxing Day as well. So
they wouldn't have done any shape or anything like that either. Well, and then the most random thing of the transfer window is last night at almost about midnight, Hearts announced that Jordan Roberts, probably the worst player, even worse than Elliot Freer this season, has joined Motherwell on loan, which I find utterly astonishing. Any thoughts on Roberts going it, other than yes, Kev?
Yeah, it's a great thing. The only thing I can think of is the fact that Graham Alexander must have seen him on his one good game for Ipswich or something like that and thought, that's the player I need. And I understand that there was actually a queue of folk who were happy to drive him along the M8.
It was a very strange one. A couple of my pals are Motherwell fans and messaged to be like, is he as shite as you make it? And I was like, shiter, mate. I've not got enough words to tell you how bad he's been.
If that's Joe Savage that's done that, give Joe Savage a 10-year contract, man. That was class.
Yeah. When you look as well, Moore went out on loan too. That was a bit of a strange one because I would have quite liked. We're a bit light. It's probably why we haven't let what do you call him leave Craig Whiting, because we can be a bit light on options out wide. So it was a bit strange to see Moore go. You disappointed not to see more people out the door?
A wee bit. Aye, exactly that. Demure. Why are we still paying him a wage? Get him a fuck. He's rubbish. He clearly doesn't. He's not involved in the plans. So see ya.
Aye, it's just that he'll be on big money as well. He's on a big contract and on big money, so that was a bit harsh. That was hard to take that he's still here. Oh well, cool. Anything else happened this week, headlines wise, that we've missed? Any transfer sagas that you enjoyed?
Surely you're going to mention Jam.
Aye, that was where I was going. That was unbelievable. So for anybody that doesn't know, Olivier Cham joined Marseille on the last day of the transfer yesterday, and today their manager has quit because he categorically told the board he did not want Olivier Cham, obviously because he thinks he's absolute garbage. But Olivier Cham is there, and in today's press conference, AVB said, I have put my resignation in, and I'm just waiting on the board to get back to me because I don't want Cham. Pretty funny, isn't it?
Ken, what else is funny actually? I don't know if you've mentioned it. What about who did Big Uchi sign for? Was it Wickham or something?
What a tweet.
What a strange fucking tweet, like so many different things wrong with it, man.
You should as well. For the times that we've had the Twitter for this podcast, you always know if you're going to be sarcastic and do something funny, you have to wait until you win. Because we were sitting on gold for the game against Alloa in the League Cup and got pumped it. We were sitting on gold for the cup final to win it and we got beat. So you have to keep your powder dry. To tweet at 1-1 saying thoughts and prayers are with all the Hearts fans that told us Uche was shit, and then to get scudded 7-2, just absolutely not even got beat, like 3-2, 7-2 is just an absolute joke and
dismantled.
Hilarious. Aye, hilarious. And Uche is shite. Doesn't matter what way you put it, he's absolute jobby. Anything else? The Kevin Nisbet thing was quite funny. I know Rab was joked about it there or whatever. I think it was £2 million was bid. Could have raised to as much as 3 million, depending on Scotland call-ups and all that type of stuff. Hibs said no, and then obviously Kevin Nisbet handed in a transfer request. He'll benefit greatly from there being no crowd, won't he? Because that will be poisonous, won't it? I don't think he's played tonight. I don't think he played. He was on the bench, and I don't think he featured. So he
came on.
Oh, did he? I think he was trying to force the move because he thinks it will help his chances more for the Euros in the summer.
Don't blame him though. Maybe he's quadrupling his wages or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's what I'm saying there. If he's 3 million or 2 million, 3 million, you're looking at, if it's a 3-year contract, 14 to 16 grand a week or whatever, that would be the value of that contract. He's not going to be on anything like that at Hibs. He's also on deferred wages at Hibs as well, so if he's getting paid 50% of his wage with 50% being promised at a later date or whenever they've got the funds,
it's maybe what stopped us doing any business in the transfer window, because I think we've got like a 30% sell-on fee, so we would have raked it in, and I don't know if maybe we were sitting waiting,
you were the ones
if we were getting any more. Aye, and getting any dough in.
You have to question whether it's fair value though. So and again, not to air the group chat for all its dirtiness here, but like some people, I'm looking at you, Corbett, have been more than not public, but more than sort of critical of Nisbet being an absolute myth, right? And is it fair value? Is that did someone actually maybe look up his dossier and go, actually, nah, we'll withdraw the offer? Or actually, was it a withdrawn offer, or did Hibs just flat out refuse it?
They refused it.
They turned it down, and then Birmingham publicly said that they've withdrawn their offer, and that was after Kevin Nisbet has handed in his transfer request. Well, I'll play devil's advocate because I like to say it every week, and say that the guy has got bags of potential. He's a young guy. He's scored goals. Whether it's he's scored an average amount of goals for Hibs, considering the chances and the opposition that they're playing just now, and the fact that Hearts are in the league. He's scored an average amount of goals for them. You can't argue with his goal return in the lower leagues. He scored goals wherever he's went. So for clubs in England, like you said, £2-3 million is nothing to them. They take a punt. He comes, he scores goals, great. If he doesn't, who cares? So you look at it that way and say, well, you're maybe buying the potential of him rather than his worth now, because, as I've said before, he scored a hat-trick in the second game of the season, and since then he scored 8 goals in 24 matches. He's only actually scored in 7 games this season. He scored a hat-trick against Livingston, he scored 2 against Hamilton, so he's actually only scored, 6 goals? If you take away the fact that he scored more than 1 in those games. So it's we also would have bit their hand off, wouldn't we? If somebody
you could compare it
goal if you take away all the other goals as well. So
if you take away his 10 goals that he scored, he's actually only scored 1 goal. Take that
all right, Lennon.
That was like was it Lennon said everyone's negative except for 2 people. That's
Aye, but
it was like when Caffro said if there wasn't crossbars we would have won that game or something like that. I don't remember that.
Classic. Right, cool. there's no other headlines or nothing else funny happened in Scottish football, let's move on. We've got 2 quizzes. We've got Deividas Quiznauskis, which is just our normal quiz with Ando, and then because of in honour of our guest, we have, is it Dunfermline or Raith, the quiz, which we'll do after Deividas Quiznauskis. Right, Ando, over to you.
Right, so you all know the drill by now. 5 questions, 4 of them standard multiple choice, and question 5 closest to the pin. We've got a little bit of a theme, so there's a couple of Dunfermline questions woven into this for our honoured guest Rab. But the first 2 are Hearts questions, so we'll just go straight into it. And just for the removal of all doubt, question 1 is going to be worth 1 point. Question 2, 2 points again, because some people might be used to some fucking random amount of points being assigned to question 2, but that ain't the case. So, question 1 for 1 point. Julian Brellier was sent off in the Champions League qualifier in 2006 against AEK Athens. But what unusual offence seen him get his first yellow card? Was it A, non-regulation studs in his boots? B, wearing an earring? C, showing an offensive tattoo by wearing a short sleeve strip? Or D, going to the dressing room for a pish without the ref's permission? Alright, and I've got a predetermined order here. Tam, what's the answer?
B, wearing an earring.
Okay.
I couldn't say that. Wearing an earring.
Shank.
Wearing an
earring. Well, let's not take the mickey out of anyone here. Shanks.
Earring.
Earring. Brad's.
I've got Brolly or an earring.
Okay. Corbett.
It's the reason why Shanks kicked about with Pat Butcher, like big gold earring things for 2 years. He wore an earring.
Okay, Rab. I don't even probably need to ask you. You've got the theme here, haven't you? Right. And Kev, I'm not going to insult your intelligence by asking you. Question 1 is always a gimme, just for Shanks' sake, so that's why that's in there. Alright, so you're all getting 1 point there. In fact, wait a minute. I'm just going to write all these down. Right, question number 2. A little bit more recent. Who was Hearts' top goal scorer at the end of the 2019-20 season? And that's the one just finished. So we'll go in reverse order. I have to give you the options first, sorry. Is it A, Sean Clare, B, Craig Halkett, C, Jamie Walker, or D, Stephen Naismith? Kev, you're up first.
Shoot. I'm between 2, so I'm going to go
You'd
with
like to be.
Naismith.
Rab?
I have wrote Naismith.
You wrote Naismith. Corbett?
Sean Clare.
Okay. Brad's?
I've got Stephen Naismith.
Okay. Shanks?
I've gone Sean Clare.
Okay. And Tam?
I actually thought it was Halkett, so...
That's what I think it is, but...
Aye, I put Halkett, but... Aye.
Okay. So, Corbett, if you thought it was Halkett, why did you not say Halkett?
Because I just thought, fuck it, I'll go Sean Clare.
Okay, right. Well, Tam, congratulations, 2 points. The rest of you are wrong. It was Sean. It was Sean Clare. It was Craig Halkett, and he got 7 goals at the end.
Woo! And we wonder why we got relegated.
Exactly. Absolute disgrace. Right. So, question number 3.
Did they put out a DVD?
Yeah, Tam bought it. Question 3. Which Hearts player has scored in every league match that he's ever played against Dunfermline? Alright. Is it A, Mikael Pospisil, B, Rudy Scatchell, C, John Cahoon, or D, Mark De Vries? So the question again, which Hearts player has scored in every league match that he ever played against Dunfermline? Is it Pospisil, Scatchell, John Cahoon, or De Vries? And we'll go to the original order. Tam, you're up first for this. Scatchell. Okay. Shanks. Colhoun. Bradley.
I've gone JC.
Okay. Corbetto.
Pospisil.
Rab.
I've wrote Pospisil.
And Kev.
Pospisil.
You whispered that to me. It sounded like you said Pospisil. Yep.
You're right, Kev. Get emotional over it.
Well, Corb.
No. I was told that my audio was too loud earlier on. Now it's too quiet.
No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. Just into the microphone like a big boy, that's all I'll say. So, Corbett, Rab and Kev, congratulations, 3 points each. Michael Pospisil was the correct answer, scored in every single league game he ever played against Dunfermline.
That little shagger there player,
I've spoken about his goal, this reverse kind of overhead kick against Motherwell that he scored at Tynecastle. It was a thing of beauty, that. Really, really underrated player. But anyway, we'll move on. Question 4. In February 2001, Hearts beat Dunfermline 7-1 at Tynecastle. Now, there were 3 players that scored a double in that game, but who scored the 7th? Was it... And I can give you the players that scored a double, because they're not part of the multiple choice. So just Stefan Adam scored a double, so did Andy Kirk, and so did Colin Cameron. But there was another player scored the 7th goal. And you have to pick from the following. Was it Robbie Nielsen, Stephen Boyack, Wanjo, or Robert Tomaszek? And we'll go in the reverse order for this one. So Kev, what's your answer?
Oh, Christ almighty. I actually remember being at this game because I was at hospitality. It was the first ever hospitality game that I was at.
That's plenty, Kev. What's your answer?
What was the weather like, Kev?
It was cold. It was cold and wet. It wasn't cold and wet.
The idea.
Idea.
It was snowing like fuck that game. If you were at it, you'd remember.
Can't honestly. Mate, I was on the old thing, mate. I haven't got a clue who it was, but because of our usual rules, I'm going to go with Tomaszek.
Oh, so you might have fallen into my trap there. Rab, who scored the 7th goal?
Do you just get me on here to take the piss out of my football team or something?
Not at all, man. Not at all. You're obviously the much sought after guest, and your contribution is welcome.
I've no idea. Fucking C, whatever C is.
That was Wanjo. Right, Corbett.
Tomaszek.
Okay, Brad's.
I had Tomaszek down as well.
Alrighty, Shanks.
I've gone with Stephen Boyack.
Stephen Boyack, alright. And Tam.
I've also went for Stephen Boyack.
Went for Boyack
Come
as
on,
well.
Tam.
Alright. So, the correct answer was Robert Tomaszek. Of course it is. If Tomaszek appears in a multiple choice quiz, he is always the answer.
He's always
exactly.
The answer. You're right.
Exactly.
Who scored for Dunfermline that day?
I have no idea.
It didn't really matter, did it?
Damn it, Tam.
It's not on my quiz sheet, Rab, but I can go back and find out.
Is it there?
All right, aye.
All right.
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know if it was. I didn't actually know if he. I thought he played with Raith, and that was why I said it for a bit of jits and giggles. But did he play with Dunfermline as well?
Aye. Assistant manager now.
So, scores on the doors so far as Tam has 3, Shanks has 1, Brads has 5, Corbett has 8, Rab has 4, and Kev also has 8. Right, so the final question, we're going to double it. Right, so instead of being worth 5 points, it's going to be worth a big 10 points because it's a good one. This, right? So
the rest of the quiz was worth shit.
Not at all. Not at all.
This is what's been called into, Brad. This is what it's all about.
It's all about content, Brads. You know that now. So, what is the percentage win rate for Hearts against Dunfermline in all competitive games? So this is our closest to the pin, right? So again, percentage. Whoever gets it closest will win. So what is Hearts' percentage win rate against Dunfermline in competitive games? So friendlies not included. So randomise it this time. We'll go Shanks, which I guess
58.4.
58.4 sound. Tam.
55.37.
I'm rounding that up to 55.4. Right, Brad's.
64%.
64. Rab.
I thought it would be quite high. I went for 67.
67. Kev.
I'm going to be 49.2.
49.2. And Corbett.
48%.
48%. Okay, cool. So let me just work out who's the closest. It is... right, we... oh dear. So the correct answer is 57.8%. which puts Shanks the closest on 58.4. So,
Get it round you, Finport.
including Saturday just there, there's been 135 competitive games between Hearts and Dunfermline Athletic. Hearts have won 78 of them, which is 57.8, and Shanks guessed 58.4, so he has the closest margin. So he wins that question with 10 points. So that puts him on 11. Shanky, you're the winner. Congratulations.
Why did you give him for 10 points?
Because I don't know. I thought it would be interesting to throw a curveball in there. So
it's lovely to see him win.
Shanks never wins anything.
Do you see my Bebo the night?
Right. And we can move swiftly on to our main challenge. So, Rab, I'm going to be asking you these questions. There's 9 questions, and it is Dunfermline or Raith. Right, so for everyone else on the pod, they can play along. Give yourself a point for the correct answer. All right. So, who has spent the most seasons in the top division? Is it Dunfermline or Raith?
Got to be Dunfermline.
That's correct. It's Dunfermline. All right. Then, who set a British League record of an average of 4.2 goals per game in 1938? And that is an unbeaten British record for a league season of over 4.2 goals per game in one season. Is it Dunfermline or Raith?
Raith.
Correct, it's Raith. Who has the better head-to-head record? Dunfermline or Raith?
Dunfermline.
That's correct. Fucking hell, doing well here. Who was established first in 1883?
Raith Rovers.
Correct. Who reached a European semi-final in 1969?
Dunfermline.
I think you might have been on the same site that I might have been on to get these, but...
Oh, I just kidding.
Oh, you're just alternating out Dunfermline Raith, Dunfermline Raith.
Who was elected to the Scottish Football League first in 1902?
Dunfermline.
Oh, sorry, that's incorrect. It was Raith for that one. Whose stadium has the larger capacity at 11,480?
Dunfermline.
Dunfermline, correct. Who has recorded more third-place league finishes in the top league? And that's 3 third-place finishes in the top league. Who is it?
Oh. Is it Raith?
It's not. It's Dunfermline. He's a beat them on that one. And the final question: who's won the Scottish Cup twice?
I guess it's Dunfermline.
I know, Raith. Raith have won it twice.
That's not Dunfermline.
But you might have won it more than that, have you not?
No, we've only won it twice. 61, 68.
I might have made a Shanks of this, but oh, actually, sorry, I need to get fitted for glasses. You're correct. Sorry, you're right.
Raith's only won it once.
Dunfermline, you're right. Dunfermline have won it twice. That's my bad. I do apologise. Oh, I need to lay off the bevy on these things. Right, well, there you go. Score yourself. How many points do you get?
Just one wrong ago, eh? One? Fuck those, I can't mind.
You got 2 wrong.
I was going to say you got 2. So 7 out of 9. Anyone beat that?
I got 9 out of 9 because the right answer is who fucking cares. So there you go. I won the Raith Dunfermline quiz just like you won the Hearts.
Well, there we go.
I think the real winner would be whoever downloads the website the latest incoming ringtone, which is just Rab saying Dunfermline. That'll be class.
Right, well, we're sticking with the
definitely
Dunfermline
make that
theme
available.
because we're coming to Europe for Saturday. So for everybody that doesn't know, it was Hearts versus Dunfermline at Tynecastle on Saturday. Hearts won 1-0. Rab, give us your comprehensive match roundup.
It wasn't a good watch, was it? Even for us, for me and you, it wasn't great, was it? It wasn't a very pretty game of football to watch. Like all week you'd been saying to me, Hearts, as long as we start quick, we need to start quick with pace and tempo, and if that Hearts turn up, it'll be brilliant, blah, blah, blah. And then literally like fucking 30 seconds into the game, we'd had one cleared off the line, fucking another reflection out for a corner, and we started really well, and I was thinking, I was like, fuck, here we go, man, like, we always seem to up our game when we play against Hearts, and obviously when we beat you first time in the season, I thought we would have your number. We would kind of just match you man for man and maybe try and sneak something. But I know it wasn't be. I suppose if I'm being like hypercritical, like coming away for Tynecastle and being a bit disappointed not to come away with anything, maybe a good thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it probably shows you how far we've came recently, because before we wouldn't have expected to get anything. But aye, first half we were decent. I thought we had a couple of chances. I think the second half I would have liked to have seen us roll the dice and maybe make some changes first before yous. I thought when yous made the changes, they made a bigger difference, and then we kind of almost had to react to that, and we had to kind of try and stop you playing instead of playing our own game. I think ultimately, fucking Craig Gordon and a moment of magic for Walker was all that was in it, really, wasn't it?
Aye. To be fair, aye, that's right. I said to you in the thing with it, if we start with tempo and pace and all that, we should be fine because we're at our best when we're like that. Said if we start Naismith and make it a battle in midfield, we'll be absolutely dire, and that's exactly what it turned into, wasn't it? I think, like you said there, the first minute, used straight for kick off up the park, one cleared off the line in a corner, and then that was pretty much it. The rest of it was just kind of feeling each other out, wasn't it? It was, we weren't great, yous weren't great, and the pitch is awful. The pitch is horrendous. I don't know why it is so long. When you look at, we went to Raith and passed them off the park on the AstroTurf because you can play passes. We played it all the way around them, and then at Tynecastle we just, the grass is too long, and it just, all the zip in the passes. I've seen that a few times even when yous were breaking too, that it sucked the life out of it.
I said this to you earlier in the week, it was maybe a controversial opinion, but I don't think Gordon's save for Dow's header was that good. Fucking Dow, he did it right at him. He did it back across into the middle of the goal, and aye, maybe being a wee bit harsh there. He done well to get up.
I would agree with you there. I watched it back a few times, and I thought, because everybody was going on about how it's absolutely world class, and it's a great save, but as you say, the header's back into the middle. If that's a foot to the right, it's a goal. You know what I mean? He's got to do better with the header, I think.
Well, let's also remember that last year we had a goalkeeper that every single shot at him was a goal. So when you take that into context as a hit for Hearts, then it was a good save. But aye, if you're going to be uber critical, if you're a Dunfermline fan, you're looking at that and saying, if he headers it down or any side, he's scored. But he headers it back exactly where if Craig Gordon was to ask where it was to go, it'd be there. But I'm still saying it was a wonder save. I thought it was.
It was good.
It was class.
It was good, and the same as well. Like, if I'm being kind of controversial again, like Walker's touch. Like, what is fucking you and Murray doing, man? Getting so fucking tight to him and so easy to turn. Like, just give him half a yard, let him turn and stay in front of him. It was so easy to read that was coming.
It was sexy, but
it was good. It was good. And he done well to finish it. He still had a lot to do even after he took it past him. But
that was what we were missing the whole game. Like, that's what I'd said to you in the group chat, was that Jamie Walker's just sat on the bench and watched that all the time. Every single time a Hearts player was passed to Dunfermline, engaged them, and we just went back to whoever gave us the ball, or back to like a centre back. Nobody was trying to take the ball in a half turn. No one was trying to face your goal. We were all just sort of side to side. Time we got in your half, you engaged us straight away, and Jamie Walker's just known that right up my arse to try and get the ball, and he's been the only player brave enough for the whole game to try something a bit different, and he's beat him in great finish. I think it's been a brilliant thing. Kev,
it's a big thing. The amount of times that we'll make a pass and nobody will then go beyond that pass, so we're always going to go sideways or backwards, and that was one of the only instances of Jamie Walker coming. And even we had a bit of movement off the ball. People were going past the ball itself to actually, generate the chance for an actual goal. And I don't know if anybody's seen the Twitter page the day. It was they were trying to decide whether or not Boyce had got a touch at the back post or not. But they've slowed it all down to make sure that it is actually Walker. And I think that's his 49th goal now for Hearts.
Aye.
Which actually is no bad return. Let's be honest.
And even Liam Boyce tweeted to say, "I never touched it. It was Jamie Walker's goal type thing." But Aye, we'll dive into it from Hearts' point of view in a wee second for our perspective or whatever. But anything else stick out about the game, Rab, for yourself? Me personally, as a Hearts fan, looking at Dunfermline, I just didn't think he had any real threat up front. Being honest, I thought he's played pretty decent.
I think that's just went a whole month without a goal, eh?
Oh, really?
I think so. Aye.
You're pretty good at getting it through the phases and stuff, and getting down the line and all that sort of stuff. You got men overlapped a few times in the first half. Second half, I think we'd sort of got into our stride a little bit, and kind of stuff stifled you a wee bit. But first half, definitely, I thought if you had a striker, you could have potentially have got something.
It's just that final third we're missing, eh? And like I said, I don't know if it's maybe not necessarily the personnel, but more just the system that we play, because we set up quite hard to beat, eh? I think when we play Whittaker and Big Ian Wilson in the middle, we're too defensive, and they haven't really got that defence splitting pass or whatever to get the service out to McManus or whatever. But aye, we've been crying out for a fucking striker, and it's not happening. I think we maybe missed Kyle Turner in the middle of the park. Crawford's comments after the game are quite interesting, actually. He was saying that there was an incident with Dom Thomas and Kyle Turner, an incident in training that was going to be kept in-house, which wasn't kept in-house because he fucking mentioned it to the media.
What was it? No idea.
Fuck knows. I think Dom Thomas was giving fucking Kyle Turner abuse for going to Hearts, telling me fuck off. Something like that. I don't know.
we were linked with Kyle Turner, weren't we?
I never came of that, did it? I heard a few folks saying that, but
he sounds like he plays in the same sort of role as Jobby McAnuff that we signed, so maybe that's what's took that deal off the table.
Maybe.
Was it Dave? Your outlook? Think you got enough to finish second, or are you a bit worried about lack of goals type thing?
I definitely still worried about lack of goals, especially considering like we've not really brought anybody in there. I think before the season started, top four was always the aim. I don't think anybody expected us to be sitting second. Well, we're no second anymore, are we, at this point in the season? But I don't think anybody expected us to be up challenging Hearts. So top four's always been the aim for the start, and if we can do that, it's fine. I think I said to you, I think I maybe said on Twitter that we'll be fine for top four because nobody else is good enough to fucking really put a good run together.
Are you worried potentially that I don't think the playoffs are going to happen because the League 1 and 2 are suspended, so they're not going to play their leagues to conclusion? So are they going to let there be a playoff between third and fourth and the top league? I don't know. Maybe they'll do it just because it's the top league and they'll just only relegation work it, but you know with the SFA, like, are you even in slightest bit worried that finishing second might not even be enough to get a playoff?
I think even the playoffs, it's so difficult to get up via the playoffs anyway. I think only one team's done it. Is that right? I'm sure only one team's done it.
That was good. Good
was that
podcast knowledge, because it was Hamilton and it was against Hibs, so well played.
Aye, that's right. So even getting in the playoffs, other than maybe getting a bit extra money, it's you're always pissing in the wind anyway, aren't you? So aye, fuck it, see what happens.
Right, cool. Well, that brings us on to our new feature. We're calling Pat Stanton, a man famous for pissing his pants. That there's a lot of bedwetting after Hearts games, myself included, the podcast included. Rabs just gave a perfect example there of potentially what bedwetting could be coming away from Tynecastle. Well, 1-0. Is it really that bad a result? You know, our performance. So this week we'll talk about some of the classic bedwetting, and definitely something that's been a common feature this season is the sort of overreaction to, or is it overreaction or is it justified to poor performances? So we've seen a lot of bedwetting on Saturday. Ultimately, we've won 3 points. We've beaten our nearest rivals. We are 12 points, 13 points clear, 12 points. 12 points clear. Was it that bad a performance? What's our thoughts? Are we bedwetting by being upset? Because I personally thought we were pretty rubbish on Saturday. I'm going to come to you first, Bradley, because I know that you're of the opinion that it doesn't matter.
Not necessarily the
performance goes at the win.
You still at the end of the day, after all these years or 30 odd years of supporting Hearts, the result at the end of the day should matter. I know there's been times that you've been at Tynecastle and it's been you've absolutely booed them off the park at a 1-0 win. But when I look at the bigger picture of stuff, like as Rab said, Dunfermline were disappointed that they didn't leave with something there. They beat us earlier on in the year. We've beaten them at home. I just think it wasn't a pretty performance by any stretch of the imagination, but we did what we needed to do, and I wasn't displeased, and I was contented. Shanks. There you go.
Contented indeed. So this is what Prince Rab thing we did. This is what I said in the group chat to Rab before the game kicked off. I said if we start with tempo and pace, it'll be a walk in the park for Hearts. Start slow, turn into a battle, and don't like Naismith in the 10. Then half an hour into the game, we play far too narrow when Naismith plays. If we take Naismith off, we could win this. That was at 4:30, and then we are a different team without Naismith on the park, and we'd obviously scored by this point, or whatever. That's my thing about the performance, is that I don't care about all the ins and outs of football, and you're right, sometimes you can play great and Dunfermline run out of the park and score a deflection and you get beat and you think, well, how did that happen? The thing that I think is justified bedwetting is that it's so predictable how badly we're playing just now. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything we seem to do is pretty predictable. Ando, I know that it's something you share similarly in terms of our starts to matches, and when we're not 100% out the blocks, we can be pretty turgid to watch. What's your thoughts on it? Are we pissing our pants, or is it justified?
It's a difficult one for me because, obviously being a Hearts fan my entire life, I've never been used to exciting, free-flowing football, right? But Hearts teams that I've watched in the past, the good ones I've had, you think back to, just use the Burley team for an example, right? Every time they went up the park, you knew something good was going to happen, or it had the potential to happen. That just doesn't exist in this team for me. Now, you have to maybe balance the fact that we're not down there to do an advert for Scottish football. We're there about winning the league by hook or by crook. So I'm kind of leaning towards the fact that, you know what, it's only the result that matters. But you know what, we have the potential, given the size of the squad and the amount of money and the talent that's in there, to have a little bit of both. And for me, I'm not seeing that. So I am, you know what, I'm not wetting the bed. But it's one of those ones where I've went for a piss, I've not given it a shake properly, I've put it back in my bockies, and a bit of warm piss has dribbled in my leg. Right? That's the stage I'm at. I'm in an embarrassing situation. It might be showing through onto my jeans, but I've not fully wet the bed yet. Then that's probably the best way I can sum it. No, I've no full Pat Stanton, not yet. But.
Rab, if you were a Hearts fan, because you've called this out from the start before when you were on the podcast where we announced that Robbie Nielsen was the new manager. Not us personally, it wasn't breaking news that we got first and told the world, but you were on the podcast the week that it happened, and you've called it out from the start. If you were a Hearts fan, is this just what you think is a Robbie Nielsen team? Is that how you identify up what a Robbie Nielsen team looks like? Would that have been Saturday, or do you think justified to be saying that we should be doing a little bit better?
I think he's easy to play against, eh? I think he's so easy to play against, man. Fuck knows. I also said, way back in episode 2 or whatever, that the most important thing is get out of the league. It doesn't matter. The championship's really, really hard to get away, man. I'm trying to think who else has went down and came straight back up, but it hasn't happened very many times. So that's the thing. Get fucking up, and that's it. It doesn't matter. It's a strange enough season with everything else that's going on, so aye, get up, doesn't matter.
The last time we were down there, we went down and straight back up, Rob, just like you know.
Well, there you go.
One thing I'd like to say, Rob, you're right. When we were easy to play against, Dunfermline done a great job of marking Andy Irvine out the game. That was one of the worst performances we've seen to Andy Irvine, because you just put a man on him. Another thing, how many times did we change formation or personnel on the pitch on Saturday in that first half? I think it was about 3 or 4, like, genuinely.
Aye. That's one of the things as well. And again, so the whole point of this feature, Pat Stanton, is that we'll go through all the urban myths and all the usual gripes with watching Hearts, that we hear every single week. The basic stuff that football fans moan about all the time, but that tinkering does my head in. Now, I'll give you an example. This is how I seen the first half, right? Dunfermline started brilliantly, got right in our faces, exactly what we would say we didn't want to happen, because when teams have pressed us and teams have got in our faces, we don't know how to deal with it. That was maybe 5 minutes. The next 10 minutes, we got our foot on the ball and we started to impact the game. We created our own chance. Popescu had one off the line and we started to actually play something akin to what we would expect to see from Hearts. Then we rotated the strikers and the wingers, and then the arse fell out of the game again. Dunfermline picked up the initiative a wee bit, grew back into the game, and you think that's because we've changed. Gary Mackay-Stevens hasn't played in a month. He's only trained a handful of times with the team. Let him play the position that he's played his whole career. Let him play left wing. It's what he's comfortable doing. It's what he does all the time. Stop switching him over to the right wing. Henderson is
Even
a
in
striker.
number 10 as well, wasn't he?
Exactly, played there. Henderson is a striker. Jig on Scarfs Around the Funnel was saying that they'd asked him who was the most natural strike or goal scorer in the team. He said Naismith, and then he rhymed through. And one of the people that he said is really good and composed with both feet is Ewan Henderson. He started as a striker and he scored 4 goals in pre-season against somebody or whatever. So why the hell are we playing him as a right winger? Do you know what I mean? Why we play? And then we played him as a 10, and then second half we played Henderson up front by himself, with Boyce playing in the 10, Gary Mackay-Stevens played in the 10, and it's like then Halliday played further forward, and Naismith dropped even deeper back, and it's just like, come on, what are we doing? Like George Burley's, I hate going back to it. George Burley's team played in 4-4-2 every single week and had the same game plan: get the ball wide, get Paul Hartley overlapping and get him in the box with the strikers and try and score goals.
You sound like Mike Bassett there. 4-4-2.
4-4-2. Cool, right, I'll go around then. What are we saying? Are we bedwetting, or is it justified to say that Saturday wasn't good enough? Tam, performance over results, or is the result all that matters?
Results all that matters for me.
Cool, Kev?
Yeah, I agree. Results all that matters.
Oh, sorry, Kev. Yep, cool. Brad's?
You have full-blown pissed your pants.
Hi, me. I can talk for myself. So you're saying results all that matters?
Results that matters for me, aye.
Ando, you've half pissed but no full committed.
Aye, I've got a wee bit of piss running down my inside leg. I'll say result is all that matters just now. But if it continues, then I'll have full on pissed my pants.
Shanksy?
I've had 4 pints, wee bit pissed. Just fed up with watching us being fucking boring. But I'm with Bradley, results that matters.
No, I'm actually in your camp. We have a very clear pattern what happens. I'm putting it out there. We start the second half against Arbroath, we were jobby. The next 90 minutes we were jobby after that. Alloa, jobby for the second half, and then the next 90 minutes we were jobby. We were jobby on Saturday. I'm going to say that jobbiness will continue on to Friday. I think that we're so dull and boring, and I have fully pissed my pants.
Well, about our in class on last Tuesday, but we just forget about that. Oh.
Well, let's talk about the fact that Raith Rovers had trained once before they came to Tynecastle and battered us. They had trained one more time after that. They had heavy legs, as John McGlynn said. They played us again on the Tuesday night, having one training session in between. I think we played well, though. We did play well. I'm not taking that away from us, but there is things that you have to look at as to how we managed to play so well on the Tuesday against a team that battered us really on the Saturday, and then so poorly on the Saturday again. But I'm happy. I've fully pissed my pants.
I hate how Robbie Nielsen's got this ability to walk the league in the least exciting way. Do you know what I mean? He done it with Dundee United. They absolutely walked the league, scooshed it. But like, they weren't playing great, you know what I mean? And he seems to be doing the exact same Hearts. He's well walked the league, but not very convincingly. I know that's a bit of a fucking oxymoron, like he's walked it unconvincingly, but that's what's happening, isn't it?
It is indeed. We're fine. Right. On then.
I hate that part. I didn't see it, and like we're talking to Rab like it's going to be bad for Rab that there might be no playoffs. Like, come on now, we could easily chalk this. Like, I just think to be thinking that we are easy safe is just fucking ridiculous. We need to get a grip.
Well, we're 12 points in front. There's only 12 games left, something like that. As many as that. So we would need to lose 5 games. And Dunfermline or Dundee would have to win every single game from now to the end of the season. So I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but there's no chance. There's no chance Hearts are going to blow where they are right now. That's not.
Raith win their 2 games in hand. They're only 6 points off us.
Well, maybe, potentially. Well, their game in hand tomorrow, isn't it?
I just predict it for banter most of the time, but genuinely, I just think that's ridiculous attitude for you, but fair play.
Right, let's go then. Let's go.
Ridiculous attitude for you, that.
Let's go predictions for Ayr on Friday then, Shanks. What's your prediction?
I think we'll scrape a 1-0.
Ando?
I will go a 2-0 away from home.
Bradley?
2-0 to the Jambos.
Kev?
Yeah, 2-0.
Sam?
Who did you say we were playing at?
Ayr United.
Yeah.
Ayr.
4-0.
To
Hearts.
Hearts, sorry.
Okay.
Right.
Rab, you having a punt?
I think you're okay. I think you might maybe scrape a draw, because these haven't been totally convincing. Ayr could possibly scrape a draw.
Go for a 1-1 or 2-2? Or 0-0?
Go 1-1.
1-1.
Go 1-1.
Okay.
Fuck it, aye.
Right, Corbett. I know what's coming.
No, I don't. I've changed my tactics. 1-1. I don't think we'll win. I don't think. No, actually, 6 each. 6 each. And then Rab, your predictions for what you play Raith tomorrow?
Raith tomorrow, aye. I'm going to be honest, I'm not confident at all, man.
You know what?
In this
Where
one.
Is it Dunfermline?
East End Park, aye. Saying that, man, like, I don't think I give us enough credit sometimes, eh? Like, we are really hard to beat, man. I fear a Raith win, but fuck it, 6-0 Dunfermline.
I thought you reminded me peak Hearts under Craig Levine, his first time round. Hard to beat, but Jobby's gone forward.
Kim, right, just for the sake of keeping it interesting, and because Rab's part of our league table now going forward, because he's been getting the texts every week, the rest of us call it as well for Dunfermline versus Raith. Not that I know this is a Hearts podcast, I know this is what you've tuned into here, but it's all in the spirit of competition, so don't fucking write us any complaint emails. What's everybody else's predictions for Dunfermline Raith?
Right, go. Tam?
I don't want to say it, but 2-0 Raith.
Did you actually give a prediction?
No, I don't think
6-0 you said?
No. Oh, fuck it. Stick that, that'll do.
Stick that. Kev?
I'll go for a Desmond 2-2.
Alright, yeah.
Lads?
1-0 Raith in the Perth derby.
7-1 Raith.
With Tommy Schick going last. Ando?
2-1 Dunfermline.
Oh, nice.
I'm in it to win it. I think you're stronger than them at home.
I don't think we've not scored all January.
You've not scored this year.
We've not scored this year. Like, it surely can't be another draw. I think we've drawn 6 here last 7 games or something. The other one being a defeat. I can't see goals or wins, but also can't see us getting. You know what I mean? Probably 0-0. Fuck knows.
Corbett.
And I'm 4-0 Raith. Raith are the best team we've played this season, I think.
I would agree with you, aye.
It'd be good if you done a Twitter poll to see.
Aye, that would be good. What did the Twitter poll say, Sam, when we said who was the best team we've played against?
I know, you put me on the spot here, but it was like 48% Raith Rovers
How can they be the best team you've played against when you fucking scudded them 4-0 or something?
To be
They
honest,
also beat us, though.
Aye, but we absolutely fucking bossed you when you played this day. First game. And the second game was hardly convincing.
missed 2 sitters.
You were
Rab, stop
absolutely
being
fucking
emotional.
trash.
Aye, but it was the ref's fault, Rab. Like, it was definitely the ref's fault.
The
that
ref's fault,
Aye.
mate. So there you
If it wasn't for fucking goalposts, we would have won that game.
We're the one that free to it's remarkable. No, I just thought I think they were well organised, and I think Kai Kennedy is a great football player. I think he's been probably the standout player of the championship season so far. With his loan spell first at Cali, and now he's carrying it on at Raith. Scored a great goal on Saturday too, which is quite funny because anybody I hate Dundee the most. I don't want Dundee. I want Dundee to finish 4th because they're a shambles of a football club. So there we go. Right, moving on to our next new feature. We're going to go to Tam for Do You Know Us By Our Noise. So basically, the idea of this is Tam's going to give us an alternate commentary to an iconic Hearts goal, but without telling you the names of players or any like real specific details of it. And we've got to try and guess what the goal is. So here's like a wee example of what it would be. So if you were the commentator, you could say, we're in the 52nd minute. Hearts have a free kick inside their own half. Goalkeeper punts it forward. Defender should clear it, misses it, and then the keeper should save it. What goal would it be? An Italian defender is what we could have said, or we should have said the Italian stallion.
BS.
Missed it, let it bounced.
Stefan Adam's goal in the cup final to win it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but Tam's going to give us a wee bit more detail and a wee bit of stuff. But that's basically what it is. It's going to give us some vague description of iconic Hearts goals, 3 of them, and we have to try and guess if we know what goal it is. So, give us them, finish them to conclusion, do 1, 2, and 3, and then go around the doors, and we'll see if we can guess what ones they are.
No worries. I'm a wee bit nervous about this. I'm trying to get like my inner
You're nervous
Archie
about
McPherson. You might have a bit of editing to do tomorrow, Ando, but let's see how it goes. Right, so goal number 1. So the ball comes out to the striker out wide. I've messed it up already, man.
Yeah, keep going.
So the ball comes out wide to the striker. He shows a bit of skill with the slowest, worst stepovers I've ever seen. Actually, they're still going on as I speak. Cuts it back to the prepubescent player on the field. Hits towards goal and sees the way in, settles right in the top bins.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Right, Ando, since I railroad you, you can have the answer.
I don't have a clue, but if I was going to guess, Gary Glenn.
Nope.
Okay.
Kev had his hand up first. Go for it, Kev.
I've gone for Hickey in the Edinburgh Derby. And the player with the stepovers, I think the last I counted was 48, was our friend at Wickham, Mr. Uche.
Yes, absolutely.
Alex.
We're going to cut you.
Has he unblocked us yet?
Nah, still blocked us. We're going to cut you out, Kev, and go for the Patter answer, which you should have said if you had a Patter bone in your body. It was Shanks' goal of 2020. Because he nominated Aaron Hickey's top binner against Hibs as your favourite goal, didn't you?
To be fair, I think I'd been in Middleton's when he scored the goal in 2019 all the way through past Hogmanay.
Right, okay. Right. Goal number 2.
Goal number 2. How was my voice there? Did it?
It was good, I liked it. You could get a good commentary.
That'd be class. If I could say, speak words in that, it would be great. Right, goal number 2. So the goalie catches the ball, throws it out to a professional podcaster and part-time footballer. The number 7 steals it off him like a bully with some lunch money. Audacious shot from 25 yards, straight into the bottom corner.
Nice.
I beat you, Kev. I can't go back to you.
Yeah, no, mate.
Shanks, go for it.
Shanks.
So, podcaster Pat Halliday, and was it a goal where Kingsley scored 2? One of them was a free kick, one was open play?
Nah.
No. It was when Ian Cathro's Hearts absolutely pulled Rangers' pants down. Wes Foderingham threw the ball to Andy Halliday, and Jamie Walker took it off his toes and smashed it into the bottom corner for 20 yards. It was Jamie Walker.
Trust you to get the Rangers one, eh?
What was the score in that game, Corbett?
4-0.
Can I just ask,
4-1,
for the interest of clarity here, Corbett, did you feed that goal to Tam as an example for what we're looking for this feature, and he's just ran with it? Because it certainly fucking sounds like it.
First one I gave was my one I gave to Dan, which is why I was at. Emerson Hyndman for Rangers, in case anybody wants to know. But anyway, move on.
Emerson what?
Hyndman or something he was called, wasn't he? Came up for Leicester on loan or somebody like that, and he thought he was like the greatest player in the world, and he's played for nobody since.
Yeah.
Move on.
All right, final.
Yep.
Third and final. So, 32 minutes on the clock. The ball gets punted up the field for the Hearts under-21s. It gets played into the older brother of the team who looks like he's straight out of Sons of Anarchy. He takes it on the turn 30 yards out and smashes it Thunder Blaster into the top bin.
I need to do that one again, mate.
Yeah.
I did again.
Yeah, well, again. Okay, I'll go again. So, 32 minutes on the clock. The ball gets punted up the field for the Hearts under-21s. It gets played into the older brother of the team who looks like he's came right out of Sons of Anarchy. Takes it on the turn, 30 yards out, and smashes the absolute Thunder Blaster into the top bin.
Yeah, I got it. But you can go to... Anybody else want a shot at doing it? Me and Kev have answered.
Is it McGowan?
Nope.
Right,
Wait a minute. McGowan's never hit one for a Thunder Blast in his life. McGowan's never scored anything more than about a foot out, but I believe that one to be Stevenson against Hibs at Easter Road in the League Cup.
It certainly was. Aye.
Oh, I had Steve-O.
It wasn't.
Why did you not put your hand up then?
Because I wasn't sure about it. I didn't want to make Arsenal fan.
Bradley, I can educate you on that.
For the people that don't know, that was the season where we had the points deduction in it. We played them in the League Cup. Basically played them with the under-12s. And Jamie Hamill, Jamie McDonald and Ryan Stevenson were the dads that had to be there because the streetlights were on. And we managed to smash them out the cup. Belter. Cool, I like that. We'll switch that up every week. People can take shots each of it. You got well into it more than I thought you needed to, so that was good. We'll keep that as a feature. You have to be a proper
I should have toned it down then, is that what it was?
No, I liked it. That was good. That's added
okay.
a good edge to it. I was just going to do basically speaking about it. But there we go. Right, cool. So we'll keep that feature for next week, and we'll go to the last feature just now, and we'll wrap it up for the night. We'll go to Kev, who's done a bit of a way up in Gorgie for us, where we'll just do a bit of review, because we're all locked down again. We're all missing the football. We're all missing our pre-match and post-match routines. So Kev has got us a little bit of a review, a wee bit of a wee chat about his favourite places in Gorgie. So Kev, what you got for us?
So for this week, just somewhere that I miss. My normal sort of home game anyway would be catch especially if me and my brother are catching up each other. My brother's got a license to get pissed. Really, we'll meet at Haymarket, and the usual haunt on the route to Tynecastle is Dickens Lounge Bar is the actual proper title for it. It's a proper wee boozer. I don't know if anybody else has been in it, but I love going into Dickens. Get a really nice pint, which I guess is the most important thing. There's a nice atmosphere within the boozer as well. Usually before a game, the wee sort of, you can call it a sort of wee museum inside the actual pub as well, which has got loads of real proper memorabilia, and it gives you talking points. It could be. I know that the last time I was in, there was a cracking photograph. The game that Ando and I have spoke about a number of times. The Hearts home game against Bayern Munich. Was a great photograph for that. There's also the two programmes for playing Liverpool at home and Liverpool away. And the thing that I love about the bar is the fact that these give you the talking points. These are the things that you start having a bit of a laugh and a bit of a reminisce about, and you can have a pop at my age and everything else of the good old days. But that's what that's what it does. And the folk behind the bar, get a good laugh and a good bit of a joke with them. And all in all, I think it's a cracking wee boozer. And one of the best stories about it would be after the firework fill Hearts versus Rangers game, which I think was a 12:30 kickoff. I can't understand why the fuck you have fireworks during the day. You can't see them. It's pointless. But we probably spent about flipping 15 grand Romanov's money on fireworks for fuck all. And Bednar scored. We only won 1-0, and we're there as a group. And the guy started shouting and chanting out to my one of my mates, saying he just was a fat Pauline Fowler, which I thought was really quite funny. And every time we walk in, that's the first thing we think of is the fact that he got absolutely roasted for looking like a fat Pauline Fowler.
We will now need a picture of your pal and a picture of Pauline Fowler for the social medias.
Who's
see
Pauline Fowler?
Oh, she's EastEnders.
So believe it's no pro watch, but he got absolute pelters. And as I say, it's the first thing you think of when you walk in the boozer, is that he got absolutely hounded.
Is that the first Hearts pub? If you were walking from Haymarket, is that the first one you come to?
I would say so. So it's you class it as Dalry Road. I would say so. I wouldn't say like Platform 5 and Ryries and Haymarket Bar. They're not exactly football pubs. So I would say that's the first one that you get to. And I would say it's probably the best one. As I say, got a good array of drinks in it. And I've had a couple of good nights in there after the football. I actually did meet one of your favourite players, Fader, in there as well, Corbett, but we'll not talk about that.
Hands up if you've ever been kicked out. Well.
I've genuinely never been in Dickens. You've sold me on it, but I've just never been in.
Tam, it's one of these boozers that if you want to go to it and say it's a 3 o'clock kick-off, you have to be there about 6:30 in the morning.
So you didn't get in?
Nah, it's one of these dodgy ones that if you didn't ken somebody, you're going to get stabbed because there's a guy outside with an eye patch on and fucking full leather jacket.
I'm glad Kev got rid of his eye patch, to be fair. He's a lot less hard looking.
I've just had to Google Maps it just to familiarise myself that I've not been in there. Probably wouldn't go in there because, sorry Kevin, no disrespect, looks like a shithole.
No, the best ones, but
Dickens are good pubs. I like Dickens.
I've been in the pubs.
There's no nice pubs in Gorgie, is there?
No.
And then you would say
that's controversial.
No, there's
no shitholes, but that's what makes it good.
There is a few decent ones.
I think we should. As soon as we get the chance to do so, I think we should all meet. We'll meet at Haymarket. Ando can get the train up. You can get the train through. We'll all meet there, and we'll all go to Dickens. We'll have we can then have a proper top trumps of boozers in and around Gorgie.
It scores a solid 7 out of 10 in the Gorgio-meter. It's just a bit too far away for Gorgie, but it's decent. And it also, Shanks sells badges. It's one of those boozers that you can get badges in, so that's always right up there, isn't it, when you're having a good day. But Brad's is right. If it's a big game, Derby, Celtic Rangers, European nights or whatever, you've got to be there like 4 days before it to get in, or there's no chance you're getting in. So there we go. So that's a good solid 7 out of 10 start for the Gorgio-meter for Dickens. Brad,
see if you're Shanks as well. Like if anybody's ever been to a game with Shanks, if it's a 3 o'clock kick-off, he doesn't leave the pub till 3:15. So if it was Dickens, then he wouldn't be there before half time. So that's an absolute shiter for him.
Unless it's an away match. He's always keen to get in early. He then leaves early as well, usually like after about 55 minutes. Doesn't get the score. Sorry, Shanks. Apologies.
That's what got to Hearts games is all about. I actually think I might have been in Dickens at some point for a drink before a Dundee United game during the George Burley era, and I think I've told this story before. I got absolutely annihilated before the game, went in well late, and can remember being raging with like 10 minutes to go that we weren't trying to score because I thought it was 0-0, but we'd scored like 2 goals in the opening 6 minutes or something. We were like 2-0 up, and I was absolutely livid in Section G, being like, what the fuck are we doing? Come on! And everybody's like, are you alright?
It definitely sounds like you.
Aye, that's me all over the back. We could have been 4-0 up and I knew about it. I still would have been raging about something. Cool. If we've got nothing else today, we'll see you all next week. We've got nothing else to talk about, do we? That's we've covered all the bases.
Yeah, all done.
No answers, no nothing. We'll put the new features onto the socials. We'll get in contact with us via the socials for all that stuff. And as always, thanks for talking to us, boys. I'll see you all next week.
Will do.
Cheers,
See you later.
Cheers, later.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Work it out.